Okay, I'd like to call this regular board meeting of April 7th to order. Please stand for the Lord's Prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, Lord in heaven, thy will be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That's kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Roll call, please.
Chris Peterson.
Here.
Mike Sullivan.
Here.
Stanley Zeck.
Here.
Darren Biggs.
Here.
Cynthia Kolarski. Chris Kajelnik.
Present.
Matt Reed.
Present.
Can I have a motion to excuse Cindy? She's still on.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Everybody get a chance to review the minutes from March 16th?
Yeah. Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Any correspondence? If I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down.
Well, yeah, we were still trying to decipher this. Who made the motion to excuse Cindy?
Mike did.
So that one was Sullivan. And then who made the motion to approve the minutes?
Mike did.
So Sullivan. And then who seconded?
I did.
Okay,
Anyway.
thank you.
Good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I'm, just throw something at me if I'm going too fast. Any correspondence?
You don't have a correspondence?
Okay.
No.
Any public comments? Okay, seeing none. First item on our agenda is, for new business, is summer help. Darren, do you want to take this, or?
I believe council passed it last night for $13 an hour, up to 30 hours. If we can just do the same and keep it, under 10,000, I haven't had a problem with that. That'd be great. Just keep ours the same and just approve it again this year.
Okay.
So a motion for summer help not to exceed $10,000.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Item number 2, the master service agreement from Verdandis. That's on the attachment A in your guys' packets. Anybody want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Chris, why such the increase on our end?
We have a lot of work that we did in 25, and we expect that's probably going to be the case in 26. So actually I ended up writing off quite a bit of time because it couldn't fit in the retainer. So we have that much work coming through here just in the retainer. Coming to meetings, following up on the meetings. I do a lot more follow-up. It seems like to help a couple of departments out, and I think that if the departments were doing some of that work, I could probably ease up a little bit. So I'm helping, for this board, the 24-inch water line, the amount of work that's going into coordination for the Halleck-Young connector water line. There's no project for that right now. We have work authorization for construction phase services, but that doesn't take effect until the construction happens. So where does all my time go?
Well, you made, the billing last year was $500-some thousand.
Did it go to a project?
Well, I don't know where it was saying
It went to a project, yeah.
Still,
Mm-hmm.
it's quite an increase from what it was.
Well,
I understand that, but don't forget so many years back, you didn't even charge. for meetings.
I'm not gonna, good service doesn't come free.
I understand.
Okay, another thing. I stood up here and testified on behalf of the village regarding the TEC PTI. 0. No, nothing charged. So where, if there, you know, we definitely do a lot. You guys don't even understand how much funding service we look after that never even happens.
Yeah, I understand.
We're constantly talking with people like Eastgate and Kathy Zook from ARC. We did all that work for that Halleck Young connector water line. We had to turn that around. You know, all of that really never even panned out. And so we do all this work on these projects, but it doesn't go to it eventually doesn't go to a project, and so it has to go to a retainer. So, you know, when you do all of that work and you're a business, you have to show where the money is going. And so the only thing we can do to offset some of that is increase the retainer.
So like the 24-inch you're doing right now, normally that would have a design loan or a way to do a work authorization under design.
Yeah, and you know, I've been encouraging this group to submit for an RFQ, advertise for that. We've developed, I don't know how many cost estimates for the 24-inch water line, concepts. We've done studies on this thing, etc. And for example, we did all this work on these valves out here, the release valves. We thought that we would be able to find the problem. We couldn't find the problem because we just don't have enough gauges on the existing line and access points. And so I ended up having to write off some of that time on that project. And I couldn't put it under the retainer because that's not what the retainer is for. So all of this boils down to the amount of time it takes to come here, to do all of the coordination. This isn't just me. I have a good amount of people behind me that you can't see. I have Bob McNutt, I have Alan Freiger, I have Tony Mancari, I have Phyllis Dunlap, I have Mike Miller, I have Jim Hockaday. I have all these people that are working for me that I have to essentially pay. I can't pay them with air.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
But when you look at the numbers, though, I understand what you're doing, but it's like, did I get a raise? No. I'm doing more than I did before.
Well,
No, I don't get any more.
your engineer is definitely doing more.
Well, I understand.
And I'm here to tell you that this is a business, and if you want it, that's what we're asking for.
Do you guys want to move on this, or I guess, is this something, I know it's effective April 1st to March 31st, can we table this the next meeting? Or are we under the gun?
I mean, like I said, you could table anything you want, but,
I mean, it's already past the date, anyways, April 1st.
yeah. I mean, if you think you need more time to consider it.
Has council met on it, Mayor?
Council needed legislation on this
Okay.
to vote on it. So it was pulled last night and nothing was decided. But I would ask, what is covered under the retainer, just so that they understand exactly
Yeah,
what the
good
retainer
point.
covers.
Yeah, coming to meetings, doing a report. We submit for one OPWC application, I think, a year, presuming that the village council has also one. So we intend to submit 2 applications per year. Then we do just some general consultation, and by the time, you know, you write the report, you do the follow-up from just about every meeting. There's some sort of follow-up. it really chews into it. And, you know, when we laid this out, we were thinking maybe only like 2 or 3 hours per meeting. Well, now we have 2 meetings per month. We used to have 1. So if you want to split hairs and do all of this, the costs will reveal themselves pretty clearly, as you could see and hear.
Is it possible going forward that Verdantis would be able to show an itemization of the retainer so that they can see how it's being eaten away?
Yep, we can do that.
Yeah.
We have just only done a lump sum arrangement there for, right now, Mayor, so if you want, we can do that.
Just, I think it would help them to see,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
every
I'm not saying you don't put the time in, Chris, that's not what I'm saying. I'm questioning the
Good.
increase, because that's
Because
my job, I mean,
I could tell you,
yeah.
I could bring people to this meeting to show how much time that I put into this village, both from the BPA and council. It's one-sided.
So if council's not passing this until the next meeting, we can,
legislation was needed for council.
yeah, legislation was needed for council anyways. So what's your guys' pleasure?
They can wait till.
You want to table it and wait till the next meeting?
No, I have no problem with what you do, it's just like, I have to look at this and I go, why the big increase? It didn't, you know, you did a lot of work over the years, I mean, it's just like,
No, this isn't the result of years. This was just last year. My boss instructed me to go back to 25 and look at all the time charged and then project forward, and I did that.
Yeah, and I think CT did a lot more funding requests for us this year than normal.
If I can speak on that, you guys need to do more. You're not doing half as much as you need to. You can really put the pedal to the metal and do a lot more with funding than you are. And if you think you're doing good now, you could be doing better.
So you guys want to table it?
yeah, we gotta go through.
Okay.
Do the funds, see, nobody asked me to prepare legislation for this, right? I just want to make sure that,
Now, that's another thing. I asked Bill if he needed legislation, and I offered to draft it for him last week.
It was brought to my attention last night, right before the meeting.
Yeah, I heard it.
Because I had 4 work authorizations, and he said that we were pulling the one
Okay.
for the retainage
Well, I
until we
offered-
had legislation. He probably thought about it and realized that it needed to go through finance.
these are coming from different accounts between task 1 and task 2?
No, just one. Oh, I'm sorry. 2
Yeah,
different
BPA
accounts for the
funds.
village, Matt?
Yeah.
Yes, I think the village does pay for them out of separate accounts.
Okay, but this is the BPA funds, though?
Yes,
All right.
correct.
It's only, the contract's only set up for one person to sign it. It's not set up for the BPA even to sign it. It would just be the village to approve it, so. Yeah, I mean, I guess this would be done via resolution from you guys once it's not tabled anymore, and then go through village council.
So we would need a resolution anyways. If they need an ordinance, we would need a resolution to spend.
Yeah, if it's coming from, that's why I asked, if that's
Yeah.
coming from your guys' account, then there would need to be a resolution.
We've always had a resolution.
I thought we did
Mike's
before.
right.
Yeah.
So you would have to decide first whether or not you want to be a part of that, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, we need to do resolution for the whole thing, because part of that's coming from your fund, and then after that, I prepare legislation once someone tells me to do both those things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So you're not tabling it, you guys are considering it, and then you let me know if you
We'll
want
let you know, yeah. You okay with that?
All right.
Okay. Cool.
So where are we missing the funding? Through Kelly or?
No, it's my job as part of the retainer to offer ideas of where you can apply for funding. one of the easiest ones is OPWC. It's annual, it's expected. All I ask for you guys to do, and I do the same thing with council, lay out your priorities. I did a capital improvements plan spreadsheet for you guys, and what I'm asking you to do is list your highest priority. And let's talk about it, and let's see if it is an OPWC eligible project. If it's not, let's talk about another funding avenue. My job is to present you with various funding sources so that you can basically leverage your abilities. So with a 24-inch water line, you can't pay for it all. You have some source of funding. So you could go, right now we have sophisticated people that do nothing more than Ohio EPA loan funding through WSRLA and WPCLF. I'll tell you those acronyms later, Deb.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we can wait till we get to it, but the 24-inch line, we don't know if council's gonna fund it.
Why not? We've talked ad nauseum about
Yeah, but if they don't agree to fund it,
why can't council?
well, I have no idea.
Well, why not? You're
should know at
you're
this
the
point.
voice of
They
the
have
Board
to
of
fund
Public
it.
Affairs.
They have to fund it.
Okay, they have to fund it, and why can't you work with Mark on?
Did you get a response last night? from
I
council?
got, no,
There you go.
I did not.
How do you expect me to get a response? I'm just saying.
Well, this has gone in front of council half a dozen times.
Listen, you have two boards that you work with here. You have the Board of Public Affairs and you have council. This gentleman, Mark McGrail, is your Utilities Committee Chairman. He bridges both parties. He is the main communicator between two boards. And his job, his seat has shuffled probably 5 times since I've been here at Lordstown. How do you make his job more effective? You need to communicate, and you need to have something where he understands what his role is. He even admits to me that there's times when he doesn't know all the things he has to do. I'm sometimes reminding him what he needs to do. So you guys have some organizational things that you need to discuss amongst yourselves so that you can do what we're talking about. You can go after funding for projects for the Board of Public Affairs and in support of what you're doing with council. I could say the same thing that I'm saying right now with the Board of Public Affairs to council, because the village council also really could definitely be exercising the funding option a lot more. They're not. So we're talking about funding right now. You really can do better. We can show you how. It's just that you have to be a lot more receptive, and you have to do a lot more planning. The villages have been blessed with development coming into the village. That's crystal clear, and development helps to pay for some infrastructure. However, there are times when development just doesn't come through all the time, and you still have infrastructure that is aging or needs to be right-sized. You can't depend on development alone to pay for village infrastructure. You have to have a good plan in place. And that's what we're here to talk about. And that's what we do in other communities, and that's basically the reason of my existence most of the time.
Okay.
Sounds like we should have a separate meeting just on funding.
Yeah, we could do that. We could
Go
give
over
you,
funding options.
we can give you a palette of all the funding options. That way you can read through them at your leisure, 2-pager, something simple, And then you could,
Yeah, we could have that, and then next to it,
yeah,
what our proposals are for the village.
yes. But this is a case where the 24-inch water line really transcends both parties.
Yes.
Because the Board of Public Affairs, most assuredly, is not going to be the entity that signs off on the $4.2 million grant. I don't think you have the ability to do that. Matt can testify to that.
Right.
Council would have to receive those funds. Council would have to go out and get an Ohio EPA loan. Council would have to administer the project outside of the village corporate boundary. The Board of Public Affairs can't do any of this. The Board of Public Affairs can be an entity that works in conjunction in the background with Village Council on this project, but until that project lands in the village, it's council that has to drive that, and therefore, Mark has the most important role on this project.
Yeah, the village is the legal entity that would be signing these agreements, because the village is the political subdivision here. They would be the ones legally bound. I mean, the BPA operates by statute, you know, under the umbrella of the village. So, yeah, the village would be the one signing these documents now.
We got way off target here.
Yes.
And I'm sorry about that, but, you know, the topic of what I do, the topic of funding, you're right, Mike. You could have a separate meeting just about that, but I'll produce a 2-pager and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. When is the finance meeting meeting? Because I'm assuming this has to come from finance, correct?
Finance committee would meet next week on Monday at 6 p.m.
Okay. Is anybody from the board that is on the train
What?
next Monday?
Here?
Yes, 6 p.m.
I believe so.
Okay. I can be on the phone, but I can't be physically here.
Yeah,
What is the?
I think so.
Okay. We should be in coordination with the village on this. Okay. Moving on to the next item. Response from the Ohio EPA regarding the renewal of NPDES permit for TEC Clean Energy Future. Matt, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So we received back, just the history of this real quick. This is a renewal. TEC already had their NPDES permit. But due to a timing lapse, they had to apply for a renewal. So the EPA had already granted this permit to begin with. When they applied for the renewal, by law, we had the opportunity to ask for a public hearing, and the EPA had to grant us that public hearing, so we did that, which is why we had the public hearing here several months ago, where several representatives of the village, as well as a lot of residents, expressed their concerns. Virtually everybody in the room, with the exception of about 3 TEC people and their attorneys, were opposed to this renewal. Based on the comments that we got back last week, it appears that the EPA was very dismissive of our concerns. Not only, as Chris pointed out, not only were they lazy in their response, they were actually took their time to really go through and support TEC's position and shoot down all of our concerns. So we are anticipating a decision on the renewal should be coming out this week. It will not be favorable to us. We will have some appeal rights. There's an environmental appeals board, but we'll have to see what the actual determinations are and the reasoning behind that before we can, take our next steps with an appeal. But we should anticipate an adverse decision on that permit.
Anybody have any questions for Matt?
No.
Well, the one thing I had, and I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, it is addressed that now Mud Creek is taking a lot of the drain off from Altium and everything.
It's taking what?
It's taking a lot of the drain off from Altium. All the drainage from Altium and everything is going into Mud Creek after they did the study back in like 17 or something.
The one thing that they continuously go back to is that they're looking at the quality of water. The quantity of water is outside of their scope of review. They continuously went back to that over and over again. All of our flooding concerns, they basically said, well, that's outside the scope of our review. We're only looking at quality, not quantity. So, in terms of that concern about what's coming from Altium, they were very dismissive throughout about the quantity of water going into Mud Creek, unfortunately.
So basically, they don't care if it floods.
No. One thing to point out too. So this project has been approved by the Ohio Power Siting Board. They've had a certificate for years. I mean, the EPA is they have a representative. Their director is one of the board members of the Ohio Power Siting Board. So, you know, there's an alignment here between them politically. And this discharge into Mud Creek was originally contemplated in their certificate that was granted back in 2017 when they prepared their layout for how they were going to operate. This was something that was always on the table, and it wasn't necessarily a condition of the certificate, but this was always something that was contemplated as where their processed water would be discharged. And it was never an issue with the Ohio Power Siting Board, and it apparently is not an issue with the EPA either. So. The other thing to take into account, and I know we heard this from the EPA, at least they touched on it, Warren, their treatment facility doesn't want the water. And that's not our problem, but from the EPA standpoint, they're looking at it as, well, where are they going to send it? Because Warren doesn't want it. We're not going to force Warren to take it if they can just put it into Mud Creek. So basically, it's a hot potato situation where it becomes our problem. But the EPA has mentioned that several times that Warren doesn't want the water, and they're worried about how it will adversely impact Warren's treatment facility.
Yeah, but remember they said that they're not going to be discharging. They have a closed loop system. At some point they will, if it's very necessary, but they're supposed to recycle, correct?
That's TEC.
No. TEC was to have some amount of recycle, but not all. I know that. But yes, their system operates, so to speak, more efficiently than LEC, where LEC just direct discharges. So just to make sure you guys are aware, there was to be some recycle from that cooling pond. But they were going to get to a point where they had to clean out that cooling pond.
Yeah, it loses the...
Yeah, you still have to go off the conditions of the permit.
Yeah.
Per the permit, they can discharge a certain amount. It doesn't matter what they do inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And, you know, then
They
they
lower their conditions.
Then they have the problem of attenuating that treatment with storm flow, because that same basin receives storm flow. And that's what the village is concerned about. You know, what you said, Matt, quantity. Ohio EPA doesn't care about the quantity. I don't know if they don't care about it, or it's just something they won't technically address. But quantity gets down to, in the event that there is storm water coming into that pond that pond can't handle, it's designed to overflow. And where does it go? It goes into the creek. And so that's where quantity matters, and it should matter to the Ohio EPA, but we couldn't get them to listen to that.
So I guess this is one question I had. You know, if the residents do experience property damage from this, is the Ohio EPA liable?
No, they're a state agency, so they would have immunity. But if there are concerns about flooding coming from residents with respect to TEC's project, they should contact the EPA or the Ohio Power Siting Board, because this is all out of our hands. I know people want the village to do something about it,
yeah,
but our local ordinances have been almost 95% have been preempted by the certificate,
yeah,
and then by what the EPA is doing in conjunction with the Ohio Power Siting Board. So if there are concerns, people need to report those to the Siting Board and the EPA, because it doesn't do us any good to go to the Ohio EPA or the Power Siting Board and say, our residents are complaining. They're going to say, well, we haven't heard anything from them.
yeah.
And if we appeal, then it go basically to the same people that originally denied it, correct?
Well, not the same people, but it would be another review board within the EPA, an administrative appeal.
Okay.
I think, though, that Matt stated something important, and that was regards to any future facility like TEC that would have or ask for a direct discharge to the stream, that the village do whatever is possible, to prevent something like that from happening. Sanitary sewer flow, whether it be industrial or domestic, should go to the sanitary sewers. The village has sanitary sewers extended all throughout the entire village except for a couple small streets. And there's no reason why in today's era we should have a direct discharge to a stream. It just doesn't make sense.
Anything else on that? Okay. Seeing no other new business, old business, Imperial Water and Sewer agreements. I know everything has been signed. I believe the check is, I know it's been cut. I don't believe it's been mailed. I don't know for sure. Becky, do you know the answer to that?
It's being mailed out tomorrow.
Being mailed out tomorrow.
Yeah.
When can we set our meeting?
You guys pick some dates and we'll let you know. I mean, you guys, we're pretty flexible
Okay.
with times and days and stuff through the week, so, if you guys can get your schedules together, then we can sit down. I mean, is it you three and Imperial, is that what we're starting at with this, or?
I would assume, yes.
Okay.
So if it's the three of you guys, it would have to be a public meeting. You guys
Correct.
need to advertise. And then I don't know if Attorney Johnson was going to be there. If you want me there, I'm happy to make myself available. If she's going to be there, I should be there. If she's not going to be there, you guys let me know if you want me there. But
At this point, I don't think that's going to be necessary. We need to hear what your concerns were with the contracts. I mean, if you can have something, either verbally or print something out while we're there so we can see what your concerns were, and then we'll proceed from there.
Okay.
We would want the superintendent there too.
Yeah, we'd want Darren.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
You guys want to get some dates together? And...
Yeah, we can talk a month or so down the road, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. New 24-inch water line. Any updates? Chris, I know, were you getting cost proposal based on the RFQs or?
We can't do that. You're not there. You have to tell Matt to request, have us request or submit a proposal to the village.
the utility committee is going to meet too, but yeah, we talked about this last night.
You have to do the selection first.
Okay. You guys gonna have a meeting scheduled soon?
Next week?
Next week? What, probably Monday or Tuesday, right?
No.
Okay. I'm good then. I can be there. Do you know when?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I have just on my end with the line, I've sent the drawings that have been shared about where the new line is going to go. I've sent that over to Niles just so they understand where it's going. And I've also reached out to Weathersfield, to their attorney, Cherry Poteet. Just, what do we need? What does Weathersfield need from us in order to go ahead, because some of this is going to cross through Weathersfield. So she has that. She's going to review it and get back to me, so, on any of their requirements.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that? Clean Energy Future, Trumbull LLC, Sanitary Sewer in Lordstown, Ohio, EPA, PTI.
So that's all, we were going back and forth on that agreement, but we hit the brakes because they wanted that we release any and all claims objecting to the Mud Creek discharge. And so it kind of came down to, we're not going to get a lot of money out of this agreement in the first place, and we can't, you know, obviously you'd have to go through the BPA and then the village, but that kind of just hit a wall when they were added in language about not objecting to basically not objecting to their connection or to the discharge into Mud Creek. So I mean, I can proceed with it and keep negotiating it if you guys want, but I think there's too many adverse terms in there that could hamstring us big picture-wise, just to get a little bit of money to offset what they're discharging, you know, domestically into Trumbull County.
Well, wasn't there some question about if it was sold?
My understanding is that the village did construct it and then sold it to Trumbull County, that sewer line. But that wouldn't impact.
No, I thought that if it
Talking
was
about the
sold,
property
we had
sold down.
language saying it would go to
That
Lordstown.
That would have been a covenant that we put that would run with the property. That was all part of the settlement agreement. But again, the release language that they were asking for would have prevented us from, you know, challenging the Mud Creek discharge. And so everything was tabled at the time, depending on what happens with the EPA decision. There's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
And pushing that agreement forward, we could hurt our ability to object to the discharge.
I think we're beating a dead horse. So if we accept the last proposal, then they would start paying their little bit of a share, correct?
Right. Yeah.
I think we're just wasting our time.
I don't think we should make that decision unilaterally on our own, because council's also objecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I would say
Yeah, at least
maybe in the
run it
utility
through.
committee meeting, yeah.
run it through the utility committee.
Yeah. You okay with that, Stanley?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. If you don't mind adding that to your agenda too.
And what am I adding here?
You would be adding Trumbull Energy Center, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. Trumbull Energy Center has a proposal in front of us. Part of that proposal is they were going to give us a monetary value of what they would be discharging into our sewer, but they're discharging into Trumbull. But what they put in the agreement was the village didn't have the right to object to the Mud Creek, and we are actively objecting right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to make that decision that we're going to agree to something without you guys on board. Does that make sense?
And it also limits that if something were to happen with that permit and they had to discharge into a sewer, that they would have to, you know, we had language in there that they would have to
They would have
utilize.
to discharge it into us.
Into us, yeah, and that was all taken out too. There's a whole lot of terms that were,
Yeah,
they took out.
it's
that
not a
were
good
favorable
agreement,
to us.
yeah.
That's the portion that I was concerned with,
Yeah.
that if something happened and they sold it or whatever,
So,
that it would then transfer back to the Lordstown sewer rather than going to Trumbull.
yeah, if they don't discharge on the NPDS and they discharge into a sewer, we put in there that they had to put it into our sewer, not Trumbull County's, and they took that out, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they took that out. So there's really no benefit other than they're gonna give us some money every year. There's no protection, I don't think so.
The other protection was there was going to be a covenant that they would have to, whoever came along after them would have to connect to our sewers. That was more of a long-term benefit, so that was some additional consideration.
You're right,
So,
but is that still in there?
Yes, that's still in
that's
there.
on there, yeah. Okay, we'll come to your utility committee meeting and bring it up.
That would help. If I may.
Yes.
TEC is in the process of closing out a lot of things right now. Time might be of the essence here. So factor that in.
Your meeting's next week.
It will be, yes.
Anything else?
Is it just you that'll be coming?
I don't know if the other, when we know the date, I guess.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, if you would email all of us and let us know if we're all
I
available.
guess what I'm asking is what's a good day and time?
Any day but Monday or Tuesday.
Any day of Monday?
Yeah, in the evening if you can.
Well, yeah, the two members of this committee prefer after 5.
Yeah, for me, I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Mike, is you okay with that?
I'm not sure, you know, I'm having the surgery on the 21st.
Well, that's the week after.
That's a week after, yeah.
Yeah. Monday,
You saying any day but Monday or Tuesday?
well, but we gotta be here Monday for,
Finance.
Finance means Monday, is what he's saying.
And then I have a question, and that is, if 2 of these members are showing up to discuss business with the utility committee, does the BPA need to advertise? If so, we need to make note of that over here.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so we need to find out when their meeting is, so that,
Do they, because they're already advertising the public meeting?
But just make sure it's included as a BPA meeting as well.
BPA, okay.
Yeah.
so we'll have to make sure that that's how we advertise.
What do you guys want to tell them, date-wise? Do you guys want to do it on Monday? I mean, I don't know if they even do
No,
it
it'd
on
probably be Wednesday,
Wednesday.
what time?
probably 5, 5:30.
I can't do Wednesday nights.
Is that okay for you, Matt?
What, yeah, you guys want me
Thursday
there?
or Friday.
What,
Well, I don't know if you have to be or not, so.
I think it'd be helpful, just because of the agreements and everything. If you're okay with it, Mark, I think it'd be helpful to have him there.
Sure.
Okay.
next Monday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay. 15? What time?
Well, it's gonna be, I still have to get a hold of them, 5:30, something like that.
Yeah, I'll make it work, it's fine.
Stanley, are you good with that?
So far, yes.
You can
No.
make it?
Not on Wednesday. I could do Thursday.
Can you do Thursday, Mark?
I can.
Sorry, am I messing with your schedule?
No, you're good. I can't do Thursday evenings. Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, if it's Wednesday, there's 2 of us will be.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of us will be there. You okay with that, Mark? Okay. We'll do it Wednesday.
Do you need a court reporter?
If we're meeting, yes. Are you available Wednesday night?
I don't know. I have to get the phone out, get the
I'll
calendar.
stop.
Don't talk till I get back here.
I charge for the hour for my services here, by the way.
That's next Wednesday, the 15th?
Tentatively.
Yeah. I can do that. Should I put it in?
I'm working on it.
Tentatively.
9 o'clock, okay, all right.
Yeah, Mark, you still have to check with your members, right?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. I'll let you know if, I know Cindy's off, I'll let you know if.
Okay. Yes, if I show up, I'm charging you.
Yep.
Nobody cancels me.
Okay.
You mean the finance committee,
What's that?
No, it's utility.
or utility committee, whichever one.
I'll charge somebody.
Okay. Anything else on that? Rules and regulations governing water use and service. I think we're kind of waiting for Cindy to get back and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the 15th is 5:30?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna put down. Is that good before we go any further?
I'm good with it. Stanley, you good with
Yeah,
that?
I started making revisions to it, but I put it on hold based on last meeting because we wanted to discuss what needs to be done to become a member of MVSD directly. I did a memo probably a year and a half ago, and I just circulated it to you guys because it wasn't sent to the BPA back then. So you have it in front of you. Those are the statutory steps to become a member. As you can see, it's very much a process where the district and its participants, you would want them to be, in your favor. And our understanding is that they're not in favor of us joining. So could we unilaterally, force our way in? That would ultimately be up to the Court of Common Jurisdiction because it is a court-created district. They would have the ultimate say. In terms of the likelihood of that may be another story. But those are procedurally the steps. And I would say we should still proceed with the Niles bulk water agreement, amending it, because it's for, I believe, a 10-year term. And, we have exclusivity provisions in that agreement anyway. And this 24-inch line, it makes sense to just amend the agreement to include the line, and then when the agreement expires, that doesn't prevent us from becoming a member of MVSD if the court's willing to allow us to become a member. So the two don't necessarily need to tie each other up. I was going to recommend go ahead and keep proceeding with amending the agreement since the 24-inch line is,
So you wouldn't suggest amending the agreement, changing the date? We're just amending the agreement. This agreement would still expire in 31.
Yeah, we're not going to extend the.
Okay.
We're not going to extend the term.
That was my intent. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to ask for that,
Yeah.
When we go back. That's not one of the revised terms. The two things we want to do in revising that agreement are provide a clearer, although I think it's clear enough, but a definition as to how the rate is calculated, because Niles, a couple years ago is disputing how that rate's calculated. That would be the first change. Second change would be just to address and acknowledge that the second line is being constructed.
Does Mark have a copy of this?
What's that?
You can have my copy because I have it digitally.
Yeah.
So are you saying that if we went to court, it would be slim to none?
If everybody could do it, everybody would do it, because you would basically be cutting Niles and Youngstown out and getting yourself a cheaper rate. All the customers would do it if they could.
I don't think there's a...
Mark, I'm not trying to load your meeting up, but I'm thinking this is something we should be talking to the utility committee about too.
If MVSD said they wanted us as a member, it'd be different, and they went to the court and they wanted to amend, have a petition filed to amend their charter and make us a member, that'd be different. If the district itself and the parties are opposed to it, which is my understanding they are from talking to their attorneys, or at least from talking to Niles' attorney and from talking to MVSD's attorney, we're asking to become part of something that we're not necessarily, just because we're a customer, that we're not welcome to by the district itself.
In my opinion, will never make it happen. There's no reason for them to give you...
Well, and if you remember correctly, they came to us and proposed this at first.
Yes, they did.
So, there was a miscommunication there. Some of the MVSD people proposed that to us, and when I talked to MVSD's attorney, who represents their board, he was like, who the heck are you talking to that's, authorizing this, because the board doesn't... the board very quickly made the decision they didn't want you guys as a member. He said it was like a 5-second decision. And he goes, so I don't know who, because I even sent him the names of who we had been talking to. Not me, I believe Chris was having communications with some of the MVSD people. And they said, no, they're not authorized to make those decisions on behalf of the board. But yes, there were people who work for MVSD who originally wanted us to be involved. It was sort of their prompting.
Well, and it makes some sense. There's no other customer in the
Yeah, I mean,
VSD
you would have
that is a
to,
high water user like us.
yeah.
You
If
know.
I may,
Uh,
if I may. I mean, when you take and talk about this subject, you have to understand, and maybe, Matt, you might be the only one who's been here that whole time, but MVSD did come to us a couple times with their prior leaders, and the real reason why they came to us at the time was TEC was, supposed to be at that time. We wanted to make them connect to the village's water distribution system. Large water customer. And yes, they were very interested to work with the village. At one point in time, they even stated, we might want to operate that new 24-inch water line. We might want to maintain that new 24-inch water line. Those things were talked about right here on the floor. And then over time, TEC became a customer of Warren, disinterested. And then over time, MVSD had things that they had to pay for, a new dam. That's a big project for them. And also other, transmission line improvements. And so cost became a concern to them. And so it's not surprising where their decision-making is today as compared to, 7, 8 years ago when TEC wasn't even in the ground yet. So keep that in mind, please.
I would say let's keep moving forward with the Niles agreement to amend it. Do you guys agree?
I mean, you go ahead, but.
I mean, no, that's amending the Niles.
Oh, yes,
the current
yes,
Niles
I agree with
agreement.
that,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I think we need to move
Yeah,
forward with
that
that.
needs to be current.
You agree, Mike?
Okay.
Do you need a motion or?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep revising it, I'll go back and forth with, the law director, and then, I'll start circulating it to you guys once we get a substantially completed draft. No promises in terms of how quickly we get responses. And here's the thing too, they don't have to move quickly, I think, because we already have an agreement in place with them. And as you guys have been to the meetings with Niles, you know that it's difficult for them to communicate to the city council members. They understand, and Giovanni and the mayor and the law director understand what they're doing, but Giovanni's the auditor. But they have to convince the council members who just don't do it every day. Right, and they're looking at it from kind of a big picture perspective, and they may not even, they have to figure out a way to communicate this to them as to why they're even amending the agreement in the first place, so. But, yeah, I will get a draft circulated back over to Niles then.
All right. Item number 6, Trumbull Energy Center Warren Water Line.
We sent a notice over to the City of Warren asking for an update on their SWIP, Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, and they responded pretty quick with a duration of 3 weeks that they would use to, basically restore all the area along the entire water line. That's an ambitious goal. Hopefully they can do it, but, today's conditions are muddy, and I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon, but that's what they have told us. Now, I don't think there's any other impacts to the village other than the surface on that water line, but where did we leave this off with Cindy and bulk water? Isn't that part of this subject?
I mean, is it still in Gemma's name?
Yeah, where did we leave that off?
Becky, currently, everything's still in Gemma's name, is that correct?
On our end, it's Trumbull Asset Management.
Okay, so it is in Trumbull Asset Management's name.
Okay.
So that's the only item that I think that is related to this that's still outstanding. Or Darren, do you know of anything?
That's the only thing I can think of. I was wondering why that was on there. I mean, it has to do with this board anyhow, except for the bulk water, but what rate are we charging them at, Becky?
$12.38,
You're charging them still with the bulk water rate?
yes.
So in the agreement, is that where we should be, Matt?
Yeah, they have to show under the contract, when they've begun, commercial operations, basically, and they admitted to us, actually, you know, they were here a couple months ago asking to get transferred over, but they've subsequently admitted that they're not at that stage yet under the contract. And the EPA acknowledged that as well. So they need to come to us and show us once they've reached that contractual language that they've reached, you know, full commercial operation.
Yeah.
Again, time is of the essence. If they're closing things out on their end, we should find a way to rectify that if we have to.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I think you're exactly right. That's the only reason that was really still on there is because of the bulk water agreement. But it would benefit them, and they've been told many times, even here, they're paying a lot more right now by them not coming in and asking to have this changed over.
Mhm.
Correct, Becky?
They were in twice since Cindy's been off, wanting to make application for service.
Okay, there it is.
And I told them no, not yet, not.
Yes,
Because I knew there was something going on.
That's something I would expect one of their 5 attorneys to reach out to me and say, under our contract, under our water supply agreement, we believe we've reached this, you know, full operational capacity, therefore we want to switch over to the rate. So it's strange that they're trying to do that without their attorneys involved. But that should be handled through counsel, through legal counsel. And because it impacts our contracts, and because we've also heard that they're already there in the past, and they've subsequently acknowledged that they're not. Their attorneys have acknowledged it, and the EPA has acknowledged it. So, you know, they're not entitled to operate under that agreement until they reach that full operational capacity.
Yeah, so I guess where I'm at is, they need to reach out to us, correct?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to reach out to them, that's on them. You guys agree?
As long as it doesn't impact any written agreements that you have with them.
Yeah, I would think the first step would be for their attorney to say, we think that we're there under the contract, and therefore we're ready to move it over into our name and operate under this water agreement. That would be the logical step.
What was it, 30,000, over 30,000 a day?
No, there was no number on it.
Well, there wasn't a number in the contract. There was a number that was given as to what they thought that would be. But
Yeah.
Did Gemma close out their final bill?
Yes, on the 4-inch, yes.
All right.
What did they got to close out on both of them?
We're not billing Gemma anymore, we're billing Trumbull Asset.
She had mentioned the 4-inch, that was that
Yeah.
construction, other one
That's
we
the
have,
one that is
that one's complete, that one's
completely
no
done.
longer.
Yeah. Okay. Anything
Did
else?
we return their deposit?
Yes, that was returned.
Anything else on that? Trumbull Energy Center sanitary sewer, I think we beat that dead horse. Unless anybody has anything else. Proposed Halleck Young Road water line amendments.
So we're working on the master funding agreement. We had a productive conference call with not only the Crescent Dune and the SoftBank group, but also Foxconn representatives as well. That was about 2 weeks ago. The hang-up is, just to go back through this again, the hang-up is they put in a cost cap, where anything over that would have to be paid for by the village. The concerns with that are, we're treating this as, it's still a public improvement, but legally, as long as a private entity is paying for it and the village isn't paying for it, it doesn't have to go to public bid. So the concern was, well, what are the cost estimates if we go over the $3 million and all of a sudden stuff has to come out of the village's pocket? That could subject the project to, now we'd have to go through public bid right in the middle of the project. The other concern was using the same general contractor who's already doing a lot of the work at the facility, Shimizu, and having two general contractors out there working on a line might be inconsistent. So Foxconn came forward and said, well, let's see if we can make this right, either through, maybe possibly making up for anything when the cost cap is exceeded, because SoftBank doesn't want to pay any more than the $3 million. So that was conceptually what we were talking about during the last conference call. Shane said, well, let me go back to the contractor and get some estimates, because maybe this $3 million is truly nothing to worry about. But my proposal would be, if we're going with having a private company pay for this rather than it being our project, we just either remove the cost cap language, or if we have the cost cap in there, Foxconn agrees to basically be the backup funding entity at that point. And so Shane, as of last night, came to our meeting to talk about the project, the project as a whole, and he said that he believed he'd get us updated estimates by end of the week. And so once we're there, we can, we have two versions of the master funding agreement, one of them being our project, one of it being their project that they then assign over to us upon completion, completely funded by them. And we're just kind of waiting to see which way we want to go based on what those estimates are. And it sounds like we're going to go with having them fund the project and Shimizu doing all the work. It's just going to come down to how they want to handle that cost gap.
Okay. Any questions? Salt Springs Road Booster Station relocation.
It's advertised. There's been some question about that tractor trailer parked on there, and I believe that tractor trailer is currently located on the parcel the village took acquisition of. It's not a huge deal right now, but in the end, it does need to move. I don't think that construction is going to start for another couple months if everything goes, according to what we stated. In fact, I'm really concerned about September 29th. That's the due date for ARPA. So that's on my mind. But we're going to, go through the bidding process and do whatever we can to expedite getting this project and the ARPA funds spent. I do think that we can spend a good amount of those ARPA funds by the 29th, and I can't guarantee how much of those funds we can do, but we're going to do what we can to.
When's the bids due? Just curious.
I'll email that to you. I don't have that right hand, but I do have it in my calendar. We gave it a few weeks, I think.
And I sent the Holtons a letter about getting that tractor trailer off the property. Lyle came into my office last week. I met with him. He insisted that it was not on the property, that it was on the Bingham property. He was very insistent about it. So I talked to Chris. Chris gave me a copy of the most recent survey they had showing that the tractor was on our parcel. And I met with Chris last night about that before the council meeting, and I sent Lyle a letter this morning. Here's the survey. You need to get it off immediately. Frankly, this can't hold up the project. There's no reason the village can't tow it if we're sure that it's on our parcel. My only concern is that he was disputing as to whether or not it was on our property versus the Bingham property. I wouldn't want to tow something if it's not on our parcel, but with that survey, if we're confident that it's on our parcel, that should not hold anything up. There's no reason it can't be towed at this point. I did send him out a letter today telling him to get it off.
Okay. Any questions? Any updates on I&I?
I got one, for those, extensions for the grinders. I got a price of, $34.86 to get 7 more. If I can get permission for that, we can get those on. $34.86 for 7 more extensions. We got the one on now, so I'd like to move forward and get.
It's working well.
7 more. It's helping. That's for sure. We're going to go back out and reseal and make sure that everything was good with that, but it seemed like it. When we had this rain, I was getting phone calls. I was out quite a bit because those pumps were just draining the yard water. That they couldn't keep up. So, yes, we were pumping their yard water because they're setting too low.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve $3,486 for 7
more extensions.
7 more extensions.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. And meter replacement, I know we did a presentation last meeting, I just wanted to leave it on the agenda so everybody was thinking about it, but I don't have any updates. Darren, do you have anything to add?
I haven't talked to him, I mean, that's just, we know where we're at.
We know where we're at.
Yeah, he's been in here more than once, I mean, it's just, are we moving forward or not, it's up to you guys. One thing also that 3486, which is good to make sure that we're okay with, he gave us a discount, so it's 3242, not important, I just want to let you know that's what their 7 of them's actually going to cost us.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
Yep, no problem. All right. Seeing none. Additional public comments, any public comments? Seeing none, solicitor's report.
Darren, you asked me at the last meeting about our water line portions that run through Weathersfield and concerns about utility contractors because our ordinances wouldn't apply to them.
Right.
I reached out to Weathersfield. They do have similar local laws that require, they don't require a bond, but they do require liability insurance for any utility contractor coming in. So, I mean, that should protect the line if they're in there working, but it's not like...
They could use that for our line, though? That was my concern.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like anybody's named as an additional insured. It's it's basically a liability policy if they cause property damage in place. So that should apply to anything, regardless of who the owner is. Whether it's private property, whether it's township property, whether it's our line.
Okay, and they do that to make sure that everybody's covered is doing any work in the right way there.
Right.
Okay.
So there's liability, they require liability insurance for any utility contractors coming in.
Good.
You guys also asked me to look into the grinder pump situation with respect to expenses. Those were all done by easements and passed by village council. So if on a property by property basis, and the costs and everything, all that requirements for maintaining them are included in those easements. So it would take village council would have to go through basically and vote to abandon all those easements from each of the properties, because that's where the costs are all tied in.
Okay, so they did an easement agreement.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the agreement to pay for all the maintenance and everything else. If something like that was done, that may create issues with residents saying, the only reason I agreed to allow this on our property in the first place was because of that easement. So there may be some legal reliance arguments too if council was to do that. But that's the source of where those expenses come from, is through the easements done on a property by property basis approved by village council.
There's your answer.
That don't help me at all. I mean, the way I see it, council's everything. Council, yet we're paying and paying and paying. So, think about it. For something that a resident needs, an extra that they need, we're paying. So, that's where I am. So, if you guys are okay with that, then okay.
Tax dollars at work.
Okay.
It'd be pretty difficult to turn that around now after
Yeah, it would be very good.
20
And
years.
it's not tax dollars, it's sewer.
Well, still,
Yeah,
the tax.
We don't get the tax dollars.
The thing of it is once you start going bad or whatever, even the I&I, we're paying for all this as somebody, long time ago, I'll just say somebody had set up, okay? Whether we agree if it's right or wrong. But now, we're having to pay for it. So thus paying for it, it goes into the sewer rate. And when we need to raise the sewer rate, now it goes to all the residents.
I don't disagree. My biggest
Follow what I'm
concern,
saying?
yeah, my biggest concern is the power. Your guys in there, in the boxes, and not be able to kill the power.
We're going to have to get somebody every time now that it has to do that. I mean,
Yeah, that's my bigger concern,
that's just where we're gonna be.
so. Any more questions for Matt? Engineers report?
I've submitted my written report. Just a couple things that I'll go over. We've talked about the water meter replacement. Is the village considering OPWC funding for this?
Is there, funds readily available, or is that something that's like a, 10% shot, or, Depends on allocation of money, I guess.
Well, readiness is, yes, readily available, meaning within a year of applying, yes. So, right now, I contacted our funding experts for the OPWC, and they actually have had a couple projects where they've partly funded water meter replacements out of OPWC. Are you interested? Yes. Good answer.
Yes.
All right, so you need to.
I am.
We need to come up with the split, what the village might expect to have to pay versus what the grant might yield. And so we could do that. Then the next step would be, okay, do you want to submit an official pre-application to the OPWC integrating district? And if that's a yes, then we'll do that for you at the end of August. I think that this project, of all the projects right now, is needed and it's ready, and you know the cost of it. So going into August, you ought to be looking at this one and considering this one is probably one of your top priorities.
Yeah,
If there's
I personally think we need to move forward with this.
I do too.
It'll help go to a monthly billing, which nobody's gonna be a fan of, but I don't care. I do it every day at work, not a problem. I'm sure you'll be a fan of it.
I am a huge fan of it.
But, it sets the tone for everything, and you're gonna realize some more revenue off the new meters.
Because the whole project was about $500,000, wasn't it?
That was without the install.
Right.
That was without, the install's probably double that. Chris, I don't know if you ran numbers on the installation price.
My associate, Alan Fryer, has produced a cost estimate, I think for you, Chris.
Okay.
And he sent that to you.
Okay.
So,
The main mail.
what we can do is work with you on this to come up with the costs, get it all lined up, because we have to tee it off real good for a OPWC application. It's got to look good to them. And then we can submit it at the end of August if you're interested. Now, I don't have any other, prospective projects with good funding. We kind of know what we're going to be doing for the other projects. I'm not going to go through them all. But if there's something that comes up, then let's talk about it and line it up with a funding avenue.
Now, with you doing this work, do you need a work authorization?
We will, but right now, all I'm trying to do is gauge your interest on if that's going to be a top priority project. And I'm hearing it loud and clear it is. So going into August, you will have to submit, I will have to submit to you a work authorization for around $2,000 or $3,000 for a pre-application. Now, the only thing else I have on here is the Altium sanitary screen plan review. What is the status with this? I generated a task order. I know that the expectation was for Altium to pay for this plan review, but who has this? Where's it going? This task order for a plan review for Altium's screen on their sanitary
I remember seeing something about it, but I don't know who was. Cindy was the one that was dealing with them. I don't know who that's been transferred to.
Chris, when you, did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you, or how did that start out?
I left it with the board whether or not I should do that, and Cindy said, no, don't do that.
Right, but I mean, weren't you in contact with them?
Yeah.
Didn't they ask you some things and ask some questions
Yes,
for you?
you're correct. Their engineer called me, asking me, hey, do you have authorization to start to help us do plan review on this improvement? And I said, no.
Well, would you need that from this board?
Yes.
Or you would?
Yeah, you would.
I thought we were gonna pass all the costs on to them for this,
We were, but they had to agree to it.
and there's been
I have not heard anything that they've agreed to it.
Yeah, so I don't, maybe Cindy was
Yeah,
in talking with them, and we just don't know that. So I'm just genuinely asking because that engineer has contacted me probably about 3 times asking if I have authorization. I said, no, I don't.
So their engineers contacted you.
Yeah.
I was under the same impression as you are, that
Yeah,
it
I
was
thought that-
already pre-approved that they were gonna pay for it.
I don't believe, I believe that's where it was left off, is they had to see if they would pay for it. That's my recollection, I could be wrong.
That's the way I understand it.
Yeah.
Could you ask Cindy, I know she's off, but maybe she could just like, she did communicate, I know she's probably supposed to have no contact with you, but,
Yeah,
because that's where it was, I believe, with Cindy.
When I had talked to them, I thought they were quite with the understanding that they were gonna pay for it.
That's what
They were just looking for advice, and when they reached out to me, the best way to go, best way to handle it, because I've been sending them pictures and saying, hey, you know, your bill's higher because of this problem. You'll actually be saving. What do you suggest? And that's when I, asked Chris, hey, here's the deal. What can we do for them? And that's why I was wondering, because it's on their property, on their system. It's before our meter even. So.
it's going to be a big project for them, actually. It's not an easy thing to do, especially if you have to contain it for temperature in a building, because that building has to be reviewed by the county.
Okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind checking with her.
I have it written down.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Chris? Utility Committee report.
Don't really have a report. Just have a request. I'm kind of learning this as on-the-job training. So if you need anything from me, pretty much you got to tell me. Okay? I don't know if that makes sense.
We need about $10 million for the 24-inch wire line project.
All right, I will put that down for the next council meeting. No, just,
Yeah.
so today's discussion was very good, along with that. For the meeting next week, if you could just shoot me an email.
I'll shoot you an email with the talking points.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the talking points. I have a question with regard to the meter replacement. Okay, I'm assuming that, just from what you just said, that council has some responsibility for funding this?
For the meters, no.
No.
No. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
so that's all,
Yeah, that would all be us.
okay.
Correct. Yeah, the 24-inch wire line is because it's outside the village.
Well, yeah, that I
Yeah,
understand,
yes.
yeah.
Were you mixing that up with the grinder pump?
No, it's two different, actually got both here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's it, that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Mark? Clerk's report? Do you have anything? Superintendent's report?
We had a radiator go bad at one of our lift stations. I'm gonna need to replace it. I had talked to Chris about it before, but finally got a price. It's $1,225 to have this radiator done for us. So I need permission to get that.
I'll make a motion, we repair the radiator for $1,225.
It's buy. We're gonna buy.
Buy a radiator, I'm sorry.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed.
An ARCO backflow class, Mike was gonna go to that, if I can get permission for that. It was $790 to go through a class.
When you can make the motion, I can't vote on it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Do you need the amount, the $795?
Yeah, you probably
In the
should say,
motion.
yeah, you probably should say the motion with $795.
$795, was that the amount?
$790.
$790
Sorry, what was
For
the
my-
flag for?
for training.
For ACO backflow force.
Okay.
You okay with
I'll second that, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I abstain.
Why, you're the teacher?
No, I'm the co-executive director. I can't vote on that.
For our, backhoe, I wanted to get a full service on there from Ohio Cat, where that's from. Check out the seals, we're up there in hours and years and whatnot, so I had to give me a quote and everything that they can do, and I have that if you guys would need that, but it would cost $2,694.90 to have things replaced, flushed, and totally checked out to make sure all the maintenance is up on our backhoe back there.
I'll make a motion, we get the backhoe serviced and gone over by Ohio Cat for a total of $2,694.90.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Chris, I emailed you earlier, you probably didn't see it, it was at the end of the day. I'm gonna need, if I could have somebody with me when we go over the tank maintenance program with USG, who does our tank maintenance now. I canceled the maintenance on the $500,000 to save us on that. We are out of warranties for the $3 million, so I need to put that on there now. I would like to move the paint schedule, I'd like to move the scheduling of inspections and cleaning and whatnot with that. So I talked to USG already and told them, give us some ideas on pricing on where we're at. But while we're going through that, I mean, if I could have somebody with me when we're talking to them and save us from bringing the contract here and then, you know, having questions and whatnot, or something changing.
Do you have a date and time?
I don't, that's why I emailed you.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't see it, but I might have been, I wasn't in my office.
It was later in the day, Chris.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but if I could have somebody, it'd be nice to work it out before we come here.
before they came to a board meeting and laid out their proposal,
Mhm.
we could get them to do that.
They could, and then they gotta go back. I'm just trying to save time, Mike, so we're not moving along, you know, we'll wait till next meeting, wait till next meeting, wait till next meeting, you know. I mean, that's what we've heard tonight, you know.
Well, if they're coming during, if you need somebody during the day, I'm around, it's no problem.
That'd be perfect, it doesn't matter. If I had just a representative where, you know, they could understand, or maybe, you know, get you guys' feelings, that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's fine. Just
On that.
figure out when they can come.
They're the ones you usually use
That's who we have a contract with right now.
right now?
Yes.
When's that contract up? You know, are we like in the second
I
year?
got to add the $3
contract?
million on there, so it's gonna be up when I add the $3 million on there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know if there was an actual date on that, Chris.
For the two,
Was it?
yeah.
Okay.
Sandy, would you like me to?
Yeah, you find out a date and I can tell you, because it shouldn't be a problem during the
That's fine.
daytime.
If Stanley can't make it, I will.
I tried to get it before a meeting, and he was busy almost 2 months on every one of our meeting dates.
Right.
And that's why I asked if you had anything on there, if you,
You just find out what he has available.
I'll put you in an email tomorrow with.
Yeah, that's fine, then we'll.
And we'll figure it out, how's that? Okay, perfect, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, any questions for Darren?
Becky, you have
Chris,
something?
I have one more thing.
Yes.
I forgot to mention it, I apologize. There was a house fire in the Imperial, Radco Drive, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay. It was destroyed. The meter was removed. The sewer's been capped. Everything is done. It is being moved to their empty lot list. And I was instructed that Imperial needed to make application. for service in their name. There is a tap. I don't know who's responsible, like if it's our tap, their tap. It would just be a readiness to serve fee, so
How-
that's based off the tap.
How is that dealt with? Do you have any other empty
So,
taps?
what they do, yes, then we do not have applications for service.
Fine.
Chris, how that was handled in the past, and it goes back to, when Becky had asked about this, goes back to about 2015. There was an agreement that was put out that said, when a lot became empty, the home was removed, the meter was removed, the sewer was capped, and then we were called to get a work order for one of the employees to come and inspect that, to ensure that it was done. And then that home would be put on a list that we've supplied, almost each year if there's a change in it, that there's no home there or the status of that lot. Some lots have been done away with where they won't ever come back. Some lots are just sitting empty with no pad or anything, but the utilities are still there. And if those things were done, and there was no water consumption after the inspection, which there's no meter there, then those fees that would be incurred by the billing would be forgiven by the board. Because there is no actual meter, and that tap is our tap, it's not, your taps are at the master meters. And this may be something we want to discuss within the agreements, but right now, there's no home there. That home's been, we demolished it and hauled it away, and the lot is actually empty at this point.
You said there was a 2015 agreement.
Yeah, I have a copy of it back at the office.
Could you send it to Becky and could she send it to us?
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with that?
Is that the empty lot list?
Well, that is not the empty lot list. This is something that back when Kevin was here, that we discussed this very issue. And there was an agreement, or I don't know if I'm saying the exact word, but it was printed up of what was necessary to have this put on the empty lot list, and then the fees forgiven if we ever, put a home in there.
Okay.
So
If you wouldn't mind sharing that and send copy of that.
I'll get it to her. And
You okay with that?
Yeah.
I think what that was too, is everything was okay with that, because obviously there was nothing there. I think it was before that readiness to serve that we added on.
Correct, yeah.
So that's where we're at. That wasn't even established yet when that was wrote out.
Yeah.
So that's her
I just
concern.
need to know how to proceed.
How to proceed with that.
Is it an actual contract, like?
Well, I don't believe it's a contract. It was just an agreement we had with the BPA that stated how we had to deal with empty lots within our community.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get it to Becky,
Something we
and
can
then
discuss when we're-
I'll drop it off. And
Not if we're forgiving it every time that it happens. It's not a written agreement.
Yeah. And you said the meter was destroyed.
no, it was given back to the village.
I believe it was destroyed though.
Then-
We can't use it, and we had it, we did some tests, I believe it was one of the ones, and we can't use it. Right.
Okay.
And there is also a balance owing on this particular account, it's $394, I believe, and there's a $200 deposit.
So the deposit doesn't cover
The balance,
does the balance include the meter?
yeah.
Is there penalties on that?
Not at this point. Right now, the water bill, sewer bill is $110 and some odd cents, and the meter replacement's $226. $226.
Have you sent the bill on it yet?
Have I sent the bill?
Yeah.
Yes. It didn't get paid.
Okay, it's past the due date.
Correct.
Okay.
What happened to the person in the fire?
I believe, Tom could probably,
He's still around. He's a difficult person to deal with,
extreme.
very difficult, so.
I would say he's not willing to pay the bill.
Okay. What's your guys' pleasure?
Well, do you want to hold, I'll make a motion, we don't incur any more expenses against that, then we'll consider the next meeting into
Yeah.
what to do with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep the balance
Don't
up.
apply any penalties.
I'll second
Okay.
that. All in favor?
All
All
right.
right.
Opposed? Motion passed.
But Chris, with his bill, I mean, just so that bill is the customer that had the account before. I mean, this isn't, well.
Yeah.
what we're talking
It's not a
about-
bill, yeah.
Right, what we're talking about, the empty lots and that type is,
Correct. It's two separate items,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay. Anything else?
No. No.
Member comments?
None.
None? Quarterly improvement of billing adjustments, you guys get a chance to see the book up there?
Yeah. Well,
Go
good.
ahead.
Good. I'll make a motion, we approve the quarterly billing adjustments.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you very much.